The British...
Should I go get Ian? Why is it starting?
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even.
The British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Good morning, listeners. I'm Emma Bolsner here with your 11:30 news headlines. But before we get into that, we have reporter Nate Elms in studio talking about Vancouver's iconic Honda Celebration of Light Festival being canceled indefinitely. Hi, Nate. Thanks for coming in.
Hi, Emma. Thanks for having me.
So how long has the Celebration of Light taken place in Vancouver?
So it's been almost over 3 decades, 33 years actually. It's gone under a couple different names, but most recently the Honda Celebration of Light name came about in 2012 when Honda Canada became the title sponsor for the event.
And how have English Bay residents on the West End felt about the firework festival?
So from what I understand, it's a lot of mixed reactions, mixed feelings, because it does generate a lot of revenue for local businesses. But at the same time, residents are super pleased with the amount of people that it attracts, and also the cleanup efforts and everything that comes with having an event that large and shutting down the streets and everything. So a lot of impact to the local residents for sure.
Well, thank you. I guess we'll hear more about this in the coming days.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
And with less than a month till Christmas, the VPD is encouraging people to remove valuables from their cars. Reporter Aiden Singh has more on the uptick in break-ins.
VPD data indicates that over the last 8 weeks, 761 car break-ins were recorded, a 22% jump from this time last year. September and October were fruitful months for thieves, with incidents reaching numbers not seen since 2023. On top of that, the New Car Dealers Association of BC reports thefts from vehicles usually spike around the holidays. The NCDA recommends parking in well-lit lots with cameras nearby and hiding anything expensive-looking in the trunk. Aiden Singh, BCIT News.
And in Richmond, a proposed class action lawsuit has now been filed in BC Supreme Court over the recent ruling recognizing the Cowichan tribe's title over certain lands. The lawsuit says the BC and federal governments had long-standing knowledge that unresolved Indigenous land claims threatened the security of property ownership. And moving to Saskatchewan, Saskatoon City Council has approved an increase in spending on policing. The city plans on spending $158 million on police service in 2026. That's an 8% increase from last year. Council is looking to find savings to reduce a proposed property tax increase of over 7%. And in Ottawa, Prime Minister Mark Carney will be announcing aid measures for the steel and lumber sectors today. The announcement would include talks of $500 million in funding towards softwood lumber producers and continued limits on foreign steel imports. The Liberal government provided a $1.25 billion support package for the lumber industry earlier this year. And U.S. Special Representative Steve Witikoff is set to visit Moscow next week. Talks of the Russia and Ukraine war occurred at the United Arab Emirates earlier this week. These are the latest efforts from the U.S. since discussing ending the nearly 4-year war between Russia and Ukraine. Specific details of the U.S. peace plan proposal have yet to be released. And in Hong Kong, fire has been spreading rapidly through apartment buildings. According to multiple media reports, the death toll has risen to 36, with 279 still missing. The cause of the fire is still unknown, but bamboo scaffolding along the buildings are thought to have been a contributor. ABC News Chief International Correspondent James Longman has more.
Bamboo is very common at construction sites across Asia. So they use this to clad the buildings, and then they cover those buildings in a netting. And it's possible that a fire started at one of these sites on the bamboo scaffolding on one of the buildings, and then just ripped across the building because it's got that netting to carry the fire.
And in entertainment news,
we have a plan. It's a bit insane.
Yeah, what could go wrong?
No idea, but I think we should find out.
the much-anticipated fifth and final season of the hit Netflix series Stranger Things is debuting at 5 p.m. Pacific today. Stranger Things follows a group of friends living in a fictional U.S. town in the 1980s. The final episode of the series will be released on December 31st. And in weather, periods of rain this morning ending this afternoon. High 8 degrees. Tomorrow rain, and Friday cloudy with sunshine. Those are your news headlines for 11:30. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Emma Bolsner for BCIT's The Crow.
This is 1680 The Crow, and you're listening to our feature presentation.
If you've grown up in Vancouver, you've probably heard it. Maybe you've even said it yourself. Vancouver is boring. And nowhere is that reputation stronger than in our nightlife. Early last calls, covers that drain your wallet, and transit that shuts down while the night is still young. For a lot of people, going out in this city just doesn't feel worth it. However, underneath that reputation, something different is happening. Outside the big clubs, independent organizers and young creatives are building nightlife of their own, one rooted in community, accessibility, and actually having fun. Today, we'll be stepping inside that world to ask, is Vancouver's reputation deserved, or are we just looking in the wrong places? To answer this question, I wanted to start with someone who's worked in the industry for over 16 years. He's a resident DJ at Portside Pub and Fortune Sound Club, and is a member of the premier DJ collective, The Freshest. His name? DJ Secco.
DJ Secco, you know?
Alright, so Secco, when people call Vancouver clubs boring, what do you think they mean by that?
You know, say like for example, you go to Granville and then you go to a club there, and you know you heard the top 40 stuff, and then you go to the next spot and it's like you hear exactly the same thing.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, when I first started going out, I found that it got repetitive really quickly.
I mean, some venues could be more open to themes or like more different styles of music than just kind of like keeping the same kind of, weekend club format music.
Right. So what do you think about our boring reputation?
I feel like that's a kind of like a very mainstream overview of Vancouver, like, because there's a lot of fun stuff that happens.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like you kind of have to be in the known, or like, there's more like on the ground kind of like events, like the kind of like fun stuff that doesn't really happen like in like these mainstream mega clubs.
Right. The typical clubs aren't always the place where people are actually dancing.
Yeah, like those mainstream clubs that she mentioned for sure. Like it's more like, like bottle service places where like,
Mm-hmm.
you have your section and you're not really dancing. You're just sitting in the couch, really.
If that experience sounds familiar, you're not alone. Tatiana Al-Shakshir, event organizer and founder of a Vancouver-based party entertainment service, Events with YKB, says the problem isn't just about music taste, it's structural. So, Tatiana, I know a big complaint that people make is the repetitiveness of the clubs here. Why is that?
Honestly, we don't have that many venues in the city. So if you're going to the same place every single time, you're gonna get bored. DJs have the same residencies in certain areas, so you're really seeing the same crowd that pull up every single time. People are just sticking to the same old thing. They're not like trying to improve in any way.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to break out of when you're sticking to the same old clubs.
You know, the regular nights at regular bumping nightclubs on the Granville Strip are really struggling right now because not a lot of people want to keep doing the same thing.
Just as DJ Seko explained, Tatiana says with our lack of venues and variety, people easily grow tired. But there's another factor that contributes to our dull reputation. To get a better feel of what the clubbing scene is like in Vancouver, I spoke to Opal Close, who knows the city's nightlife like the back of her hand. She's worked multiple roles in the industry, including club promotion, event coordination, photography, and bottle service. For her, Vancouver's reputation is more about our crowd culture.
I noticed that people just go to like stand around, look good, spend money on bottles, and like people just need to have fun. I think that's the main thing is that people try to act too cool or like, try to act like, I don't know, like they don't want to dance. And like I think that's really important for nightlife is like you should be enjoying yourself.
Oh no, I totally agree. Like personally, I want to go to the club to dance and let loose, so it can be hard to do that when the environment is kind of lacking. But what do you think people should do if they're trying to have a good night out in Vancouver?
Yeah, maybe I guess just like finding like different events, like not just going to like the mainstream clubs all the time. Because once I stepped out of that like perspective, I've been having so much more fun meeting new people that are like, more community driven and like actually nice to each other.
Yeah, I get that. I can definitely relate because I've also shifted away from like the traditional club scene for more of the independent events, the underground parties for pretty much the same, reasons. But what do you think needs to change for our mainstream clubs to get to sort of that same level?
I think better community. I think like safer spaces for people to genuinely have fun and not feel judgment, like places for people to be able to express themselves. Because that's really, at the end of the day, what going out and like having fun with your friends should be about is, yeah, just having a safe space to actually be able to do that.
One person trying to change the experience directly is Issa Savage, a 23-year-old event organizer and art director behind Issa and Friends. Issa and Friends is a monthly, low-cost, and sometimes even completely free event that aims to give young people a place to party that feels safe and welcoming.
It was the night of November 14th. Issa plus friends and Cooked Radio came together and had a function. There was music and DJs. There was streaming on Twitch. And there was food. And last but not least, there was good company.
So, Issa, what inspired you to start throwing these events?
The clubs I was going to were just so like, I don't know, I wasn't going home feeling like I could like tell my kids about my experience. It did not feel memorable. It just felt like a waste of time.
Mm-hmm. And so that's what sort of pushed you to take it into your own hands.
I just enjoyed throwing parties and like
Yeah.
just doing like cool shit that like I can look back on, like I just enjoyed creating a space where like you would never expect two people to like be friends and they become friends because
Yeah.
of the environment.
Yeah, that must feel awesome to look back and say that you did that.
I think that has always been something I've seen happen through like the years and years of me doing this. So many people have become friends through my shows.
Yeah, and it definitely helps that the events are low cost and accessible as well, because obviously going out in Vancouver can be really expensive. But what did your managers and the other people that you work with think about your idea? Because I know most venues probably want to make their money back and turn a profit.
They gave me that opportunity because they just genuinely felt like nightlife is not affordable and this might help the issue. And me and my managers realized, like, holy shit, like, this is like kind of important. This actually might be something that like will help people a lot, just like enjoy these years of their life and like actually like improve nightlife here.
Yeah, I love that. You also mentioned opening up a guest list as well.
I always open a guest list, and I always like I have a lot of spots on those guest lists, and like if people just text me, like I like reach out on the Instagram. Like I've had so many people reach out and like send me paragraphs on, oh, I'm not able to like afford like coming, but I've been hearing about this and I really want to come. And I literally am like I have like a good position to like make it accessible, so why not?
Wow, I feel like that really highlights the connection that you're making with the people that attend your events and kind of builds a community like alongside that too.
When you come to my shows, like if you actually come consistently and you talk to people and you will like start to get a sense of like a community there. And I think like that just makes you feel like safe, like walking into a room and knowing everybody there. At the end of the day, like people just want to feel like they're a part of something.
ISA's events center the people in the room, not just the bar sales, not just the headliner, but a whole ecosystem of artists, DJs, vendors, and friends trying to build something bigger. With many independent organizers finding success in curating their niche, Events with YKB founder Tatiana says to move forward and make change on a bigger scale, people need to work together. Tatiana, what do you think we have to do to reshape the scene so that the city can start separating itself from the reputation we currently have?
It's definitely collaborating with different business owners, whether it's a nightclub or an event space, and see how we can like maybe strike a deal and work together to lift each other up rather than, compete with each other. The city will definitely be a better place if different backgrounds and cultures unite as one and create something really big. It's definitely collaborations, I would say, because in this city, it's very competitive and everyone's just doing their own thing instead of uniting.
Mm-hmm.
But Vancouver has so much potential and beautiful places. We lack venues, yes, we do. But if we work together with different groups of people, like more diverse groups of people, I'm sure we can make something great happen.
So, is Vancouver's nightlife boring? It can be. If you stick to the same room, same playlists, same routines, it might feel predictable. But underneath the surface, something else is brewing. People like Isa and many young organizers in the city are building something new. Parties centered on safety, affordability, music, and making real human connections. And if people work together to make these scenes keep growing, the old reputation might not stick around for much longer. For BCIT News, I'm Orchid Soling. And this was Vancouver After Dark.